Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Gorecom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about what's going on at their companies. With us today, happy to have him back, Harry Barr, Chairman, CEO of New Age Metals, trades on the Venture Exchange under NAM for our friends in the US, NMTLF, and for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under P7J. For those of you new to the story, that's going to be a lot of you or some of you, the company's got two great divisions. And that's what we love about this company. The first one is their PGM division that Harry's going to talk about. They've got 100% ownership there of the River Valley Project, which is one of the largest undeveloped platinum group metals projects. That's where PGM comes from. 2.9 million ounces of palladium equivalent in measured and indicated. Palladium is the main payable metal, and that's good news because the spot price of an ounce of palladium is now up to $2,300 as of today, and that's up, I don't know, about 25% over the last 12 months. And it hosts other battery metals, including copper, nickel, and cobalt. Right now, they're advancing the PreFeasibility Study after a great PEA and more third-party validation. Eric Sprott became a strategic shareholder. Let's talk about the company. Harry, welcome back.
Thanks for having us, George.
Happy New Year to you, the New Age Metals team, and obviously all shareholders.
Yeah, same to you and yours.
All right, so we've got, it's 2021, and you want to talk about what's going to be happening in the company going forward. The market over the last month and a half seems like they're finally starting to really figure out New Age Metals. You've had great appreciation, from the 6 cent to the 13 cent range. What differentiates New Age Metals? What are they figuring out now?
Well, I think there's a couple things, George. In terms of green metals, we've got the two divisions, as you said, having one of the largest undeveloped primary palladium projects in North America. We're taking it from the PEA stage, which there's been about 40 million collectively spent on the project. We did our first economic study in 2019, and we're moving towards pre-feasibility study. So I think the word's getting out on it. As you said, the price of palladium has been exceptional. Platinum's moved up. It's over 1,000 an ounce again, and a lot of the analysts are saying it could be 2,000 in the next year or two. And we have rhodium. We're just doing rhodium studies now. We didn't do enough assaying on the rhodium, but rhodium has been as high as 20,000 an ounce. And we should have our first announcement in the next few days on the first run of 300 samples of rhodium. So, and that's discounting our lithium division 100%, 7 projects in Manitoba that we can talk about.
Sticking with River Valley and platinum palladium, what's driving the price of palladium and platinum? And when people hear those metals, they don't necessarily think green metal. They don't think green energy. They don't think green. So what's driving them, and why are they green metals at the end of the day?
Well, palladium has been in deficit since 2012, and it's a green metal because about 85% of the palladium is used in your auto catalyst. So the auto catalyst in your car does basically the last after burn and tries to protect the environment as the gases go out of your car into the atmosphere. Platinum, about 40% of its use is in the same, and rhodium, just about all of it is used for the same for your catalyst and the auto catalyst. So that's most of the uses. Every couple of years, countries around the world add more environmental sensitivity, so more and more platinum and palladium are being loaded into your auto catalyst, and I think that's the biggest reason.
Your the River Valley Project, we describe it as one of the largest undeveloped platinum group metals projects in the country for sure. I don't know where it ranks in the world, and that's why I'd like you to give everyone at home a little context. Just how big is River Valley? Your PEA has a life of mine of 14 years. So give us sense on the non-technical side, just how important of a strategic asset that is, especially as we move into this green battery metals phase that is unstoppable now.
Well, most of your platinum group metals come from either South Africa and Russia. So having a deposit of this kind in North America is quite unique. There's only a couple of them really. And as I said, the supply has been limited. So the price of the metals have gone up a lot. We're in an excellent place too, George. We're just 100 kilometers out of Sudbury. So in terms of infrastructure, you can't really beat where we have the project for a junior mining company. Everything we need in the mining industries in the Sudbury district.
I've driven there. I've driven right at the highway onto a secondary, a couple of highways, and then right onto the property. It's amazing. It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's right here.
Yeah, so all of that makes a big difference in terms of where we're situated. And, we're just moving towards the pre-feasibility study now. We've got 4 quotes out with engineering companies. Actually, we just got one in, and we should have the rest this week. And they're quoting us on their individual price. There'll be 4 different engineering companies working on the pre-feasibility study. So within the next month, we should have an announcement of what it would take to complete that study. And we hope to start it about the end of the second quarter this year.
A lot of people at home don't know. I mean, they understand the pre-feasibility studies are important. They don't know what role they play exactly. If everything goes according to plan, I'm not talking about absolute perfection, but within a range according to plan, what do you see as the future for River Valley in terms of when you can start, commercializing it?
Well, we hope to have the pre-feasibility study done by the end of the first quarter of next year, and then on to the feasibility study itself. That could take about a year. So, we could be planning towards building a mine sometime about 2.5, 3 years from now would be the start of it, and maybe take up to a year and a half to do. So certainly within the next 3 to 5 years, we'd be looking at production if all goes perfect on the project.
Is your plan for New Age Metals to be the one that takes it straight through to production, or would the plan be like a lot of great companies in your position have done in the past? You get it set up, you get it set on the table for an acquisition by a bigger mining company.
Each one of these studies we're working on now is de-risking it and hopefully adding a lot more value. I mean, if you look at $2,000 US platinum group metal equivalent, every million ounces is $1 billion plus, on the property. So there's a lot of metal in the ground, a lot of value.
And fair to say time's on your side, Harry, because it is true that palladium keeps moving up, platinum keeps moving up. So as time goes by, all the things being equal, River Valley just becomes should become more and more valuable, just on what you just said there.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the analysts are looking at many years out in platinum group metals, and there seems to be a demand, and hopefully they think the price will stay up over the next few years. So it's looking good.
In the past, it's been kind of tough to get shareholders to really get excited about River Valley because PGMs aren't that well known. It's not gold per se, right? As a precious metal, it's not nickel or cobalt, right? Where people can put it firmly into battery metal. So it's been difficult for people to kind of get excited about New Age because they just didn't understand that. But the one person that did get excited was Eric Sprott. What does it mean for the most renowned resources investor in my lifetime anyways in this country to be such a significant shareholder of the company? Because that to me is immense third-party validation. This just isn't Harry, the CEO, hoping and wishing. You're talking about Eric Sprott. What does it mean to have him, and what does it say about River Valley?
Well, I think he's a leader in the investment field. And interestingly enough, a couple of years ago, we've talked to him a couple of times, and he wasn't investing in platinum group metals. And it was just about a year ago in December that he came in and invested in the first company. We were probably the second or third. There's only a handful of companies like us in North America, and some have assets that are actually in Finland and Brazil. And so he pretty much invested in the top 5 or 6 companies here from December 2019 to about February, March of 2020. And obviously we were one of them. So I said a couple of years ago, people couldn't spell palladium or understand what it even was.
Right.
And, as a leader kind of in the investment field, he's usually the first guy in. And I think he's seeing a trend of, price increases and price stability and demand and not enough supply. And I think that's, I don't know what he would say, why he did it, but I think some of those reasons have to be why.
Yeah, at some point we'll hopefully have him on to discuss that. But for everybody at home, the great thing about having someone like Eric Sprott, this isn't George Chola, this is Eric Sprott who made this investment. You still have to do your own due diligence, of course, but the implication there, right? It's implied that New Age has passed Eric Sprott's due diligence. So that's a pretty great third-party validation. Let's talk about the lithium side, Harry, because that's what makes New Age Metal this green metals company. And now, for people watching at home, they understand why palladium, the role that it plays. Lithium is much more understood, much more well understood. Your primary project is the Lithium One project in southeast Manitoba, and you're the largest mineral claim holder in the whole area. But let's talk about the Lithium One project and where it's at.
Well, we own 100%. The shareholders of New Age Metals own 100% of Lithium Canada Development, and in that private company, our wholly owned sub, we have 7 projects, of which Lithium One is one of them. Lithium One and Lithium Two are 2 projects that we are ready to drill. Lithium Two has just recently got its drill permit before Christmas, and Lithium One, we're in the final stages of getting its drill permit. Both these properties have between 2 and almost 4% of lithium on surface in terms of surface sampling we've done. One of them has an old non-43-101 resource that was done in the 40s and 50s. It's non-compliant now, but we know there's mineralization there. That's Lithium 2. And so both of these projects are ready to be drilled. We did a second round of work on Lithium One and just put an announcement out a couple of weeks ago. The government of Manitoba gave us a grant towards that, and we're going to make a second application here coming up. And
I'm assuming that Manitoba
just flown by.
I'm assuming the government of Manitoba is really incentivized to help you guys out because they want to see they want to get the benefit of a robust lithium economy in Manitoba.
Yeah, they've given money to, I think, at least 3 companies that are in the lithium business that we've seen here so far. They put together a $20 million fund. So we're anxious to get our second application in, which we hope will be in the next couple of weeks. And we want to fly a Lithium 2 with this drone. That's a new type of drone, flow and geophysics. And then we want to do another property that's down by the Tanko mine that we surround the Tanko mine, and we've got consultants that work there for years as our head consultants out there. So we've got the right people helping us do it. We've got one of the largest land positions of its kind in that area. A good province to do work in, and we're excited to move those projects forward too.
Harry, given what's going on in the green environment and can't be stopped, right? The green economy that's coming. We now have a new president of the United States who sent a very strong signal by joining the Paris Treaty Accord, canceled the Keystone Pipeline. So they are sending the signal to the world that green is where the U.S. goes, and where the U.S. goes, everybody follows. So the trend, at least for the next 4 years, and I don't see it stopping, is towards that. Do you ever get tempted? And this is just a loose conversation. I'm not asking you for any, material undisclosed information, but do you ever get tempted to start to think that maybe you might want to spin out the lithium because it's so significant, the lithium assets, into a separate project, and River Valley, stay within New Age Metals? Do you ever think that, or are you stronger having them all under one roof?
No, I mean, we have 3 stated objectives right now for the lithium, Georgia. An option joint venture would be perfect, and then it could stay within the company at least till we de-risk it more. We're looking at taking Lithium Canada Development public as an IPO as a possibility, and the other is to get a shell with a few shares out and vend Lithium Canada Development into it. So those are the 3 areas we're looking at. Lithium prices have gone up dramatically in the last month or 2. Sure. And many of the companies in lithium themselves have gone up dramatically in terms of the share price, just again in the last couple of months. Lithium's last kind of run was in 2015 and 16. So there was a couple of years, even though everybody could see that down the road and just in the next year or 2, there wouldn't be enough supply to keep the car manufacturers going forward. As you know, almost every big car manufacturer in the world has a stated objective now to make electric cars. And so the uses and the need for lithium going forward is going to be tremendous. Just in the next year or 2, they figure it'll be undersupplied. So it's a good time to have those kind of projects. We've been moving them ahead as best we can with our main focus on the River Valley, but trying to de-risk them as much as we can. And we're hoping to have at least 3 of them of the 7 projects ready to be drilled here in the next couple, 3 months.
Harry, sounds like everything's going great at New Age Metals, and you, what I what I really respect about what you've done at New Age Metals, leading the company, is you haven't jumped and hopped into the latest, greatest, hottest thing. You've stayed the course. You stayed the course when lithium kind of fell off the cliff and people weren't interested anymore. But you knew where things were going. You're a real estate guy at heart, and you knew that holding on to these projects was gonna create shareholder value in the future. And you're just at the beginning of that. But I congratulate you on staying the course when so many other people are hopping back and forth into different things. Last words to you. What should shareholders, in addition to what you've talked about, because obviously there are things going on now with you're going to make announcements on pre-feasibility study and what the plan's going to be, and what are the big milestones that shareholders and new people should be looking for out of New Age Metals?
Well, I think on the River Valley project, George, I just don't want shareholders or potential shareholders to forget that not only are we a platinum group metal project primarily driven by palladium first and platinum second, but we do have a lot of cobalt, a lot of copper, a lot of nickel that are going to be payable metals there. We're also started and should have something out in the next few days, a look at rhodium. We had rhodium, we knew it on the property. Again, it traded up to $20,000 an ounce in the last couple of weeks. And we have just done the first study of 300 assays. And we hope to move those studies where we'll do 300 or 400 to 3 or 4 areas of the project over the next few months. So there'll be an ongoing rhodium study with announcements coming out there over time. In the next couple of weeks, we will have the costs of the pre-feasibility, and we should be announcing that within the next month or so, and hoping to get started at that at the end of the second quarter and finishing it by the end of the first quarter of next year. So that's what's happening on the, and there's a lot I didn't mention, but we have about 9 targets that are ready to be drilled on the project too. I'm not going to make promises right now when we start drilling, but they're ready to be drilled there. The lithium division, as we said, we've got 2 projects that are drill ready, and we're trying to get a 3rd one going there. We're going to basically move it ahead as best we can with an application for a 2nd grant that we think we'll get. We can't promise that right now, but we did a good job in turning everything in the way the government wanted on the 1st one. And we've been trading a lot more volume recently, which is slowly moving our price up. As you say, we were 6 cents stock not long ago. We hit as high as 16 cents last week, currently trading in the 12.5, 13 cent range, but trading a lot of volume. So what I tell people, if you believe that we're starting a super cycle for metals again, it seems like every metal and every company that's involved is moving up recently, and you're going to look at maybe a basket of 5 to 10 companies. There's no reason why New Age Metals wouldn't be one of them.
Yep. That's a sound suggestion. And for everyone at home, you got to do your due diligence on that. But Harry clearly is advocating for his company on solid grounds. Last statement I'll make, Harry. Fair to say that New Age 2021 is a bit of a transformative year for the company, that after years of being patient and advancing the projects and doing all the blocking and tackling, like we like to say, all the tough work, this is the beginning of a new phase as the green economy starts to move forward, and both River Valley and the lithium side seem to be over the hump and now moving in a more upwardly trajectory.
Yes, I agree. I think, as I said, it's the start of a super cycle. It looks like there's a lot of money started about mid last year coming back into the golds and silvers, and now you're seeing cobalt companies, and you're seeing lithium companies, and certainly uranium companies being financed, and platinum group metal companies. So I think it's certainly a good time to be in the industry, and I think we've got a few good years ahead of us for sure.
Thanks for joining us, Harry. And it sounds like we're going to have you back a lot in February, March, because there's so much that's coming, that's happening news-wise in the next several weeks. So looking forward to that. And thanks for joining us today. Tell everybody about where the company's going.
Thanks a lot for having us, George.
For everyone at home, it's time to do your due diligence. You've watched or you've heard by podcast on Spotify, Apple, Google, or your favorite platforms. To Harry Barr, he's Chairman CEO of New Age Metals, TSX Venture Exchange, NAM, in the US, NMTLF, and for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under P7J. to start your due diligence, get to Agoracom, take a look at the profile section for New Age Metals. This is a big company. There's a lot of moving parts in here. There's a lot of great moving parts. So we've got it neatly laid out for you to be able to understand, absorb, and comprehend it. And then from there, make sure you link over to the New Age Metals website, obviously, to do your final due diligence. A lot of great information there. Hopefully you discovered your next great small cap company, especially in the green space. Don't say we didn't tell you so. Thanks. Have a great day. See you next time.